I'm curious, is that a man's inability to handle his insecurity in the same way you're saying, well, she's like, no, babe, you're secure. Right? She's giving the same.
Right. That's good.
You're the king.
That's
just
good.
gives some side, you know what I mean? And so every once in a while, right? So if you're actually secure in your position that what do you think it is about that? Because I actually don't think it's only a woman feeling like she's gonna be replaced. I think it's just people are possessive. You know,
Facts.
and so she's like, I don't want that girl cuddling up on you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's really what I think most of the time. She's thinking that girl is da 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 da. The emotional, she's probably giggling at his jokes. Where is he at? Mm-hmm. You know, so that time and attention that other women or those women are getting, that's eating at her. Mm-hmm. Is the dick in the that's all right, but the time and attention and. You know, you're being charismatic with another woman in the same way you are with her, and she's like, right. What is happening? For those who choose to build containers that are like no other dick, what is it about that is fundamental? Is it, you're just saying it's a man thing, we don't like other guys in our you're just going to leave it at that and say it's not an insecurity thing? Or is
no, it's absolutely an insecurity thing.
Okay.
It's absolutely an insecurity thing. It's just that from a male's perspective, we're creating that container.
Yeah.
So the woman can choose to step into it or not. From a woman's perspective, she would say, I've created my container and the man can step into it or not. Yeah. And my container is I want as many dicks as I can, or I just want one. Whatever that is that she says. But from our perspective, from our conversation and from what masculine, feminine energy does. Right. Women step into men. Women exhale when they lean into a man's masculinity. Mm-hmm. When a man holds a woman, she melts. Right. Men don't melt when women hold us.
I hope to God.
I mean, I enjoy when a woman holds me.
I hope to God. I'm not saying enjoy. But Lois telling me I'm melting to my wife.
What's the difference and the men's insecurity? There's definitely a conversation with men's insecurity. There's a man's ability to take that conversation on, being willing to entertain that in his feminine partner, right? And even then, it is at its core insecurity. So I'll elaborate too from my own personal experience. In arrangements and relationships where my principles are freedom and fairness. If I'm expressing this is what I need, I'm already partnered with somebody. And if I started under a context where it's something different, I can't now ask for it from me and deny my partner. So on that level, I have experienced it and I am willing to do that. And in the experience of, we were talking about creation and discovery, I discovered clarity in, bring it back full circle, real talk. Masculine and feminine, equal, not the same. Okay. I'm not, and this is where I say it still is insecurity.
It's a different kind or something.
Yeah, because it's energetic of what I'm creating, period. There's no room. A household, a household following two leads? It's divided. Yeah. Right. The energy, I don't care about fair. That's not a conversation. You want to follow, get on that train, get on that train. This train over here.
This is what we do.
Exactly. And not giving a fuck to, yes, I'm telling you what I need, and straight-faced. If you're getting on this train, you are choosing to follow, you are choosing to give up those principles.
Comes home, you're a king. I'm not leaving to go to another...
Fuck no. Flat. Straight. That's on the whole principle of we can have it pretty you take any masculine.
So you can't use the lead example because she's not leaving your lead. She's just finding a new stick.
I am the only masculine. It's my lead. If not feminine, if you are not bisexual looking for a feminine partner, feminine entanglement, whatever, I could care less. If it's masculine, no, not in this village.
A nomad roaming through the village and, hey man, she's
going to a hotel room, closed doors, whatever. You have to take in that masculine energy. You have to open up and receive. And that's the thing, is because feminine energy follows, it receives, it opens up to. You have to be flirted with. You have to be pursued. Even getting it, you gotta like it like that. Or you might need some smooth soft. You're taking what his masculine, paid for, purchased, trans, any other conversation. That is a masculine assertion that you are opening up for. That's not the primary feminine partnership I want.
We're not talking about what you want. Exactly. We're addressing, is that an insecurity thing? Or is that merely to that, you're saying the energy is the reason?
I say even to the energy, because that is a penetration of energy. Insecure, like these is our perimeters and our boundaries. So I don't mean insecure like, I feel like I could be replaced insecure.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The man knows he's secure in position.
Right.
And from that context, I'm still saying there is an energetic impression of anything. For me personally, that is my view. I'm speaking to, even in that context, that is a insecure to my parameters, to my border. There is still, technically, by definition of the word, an insecurity, allowing something else to assert masculine energy into your space, your village, your woman.
So what is it about the insertion I guess that's more fundamental?
Because that's foreign coming in. That's an external coming in.
Which is the same as the woman getting another feminine. So that's...
too feminine. She's gonna bring womb in. She's not bringing in. Let's put on some strap-ons and everybody's catching it. That's you're looking for a masculine.
So she can bring. So the more feminine coming in is not insecurity.
Because feminine's gonna follow.
So I think what he's speaking to is what he's describing, and I'm going to call it this because I've never heard it before, but an energetic insecurity. I think what you're speaking to is an emotional and psychological insecurity.
Well, I'm thinking more if we're going to make it practical and say, okay, well, these are the parameters. I get to bring women, you don't get to bring men, right? She's going to go, well, right? Similar to my container, whatever the rebuttal is, right? Mm-hmm. And so that aside, it's irrelevant in the sense that if she's feeling you, whatever it is, but that's kind of besides the point. Where it's like, okay, we're talking about why is that parameter even built that particular way, right? Because that thought went into that. It's like, okay, we can let these through the border, but not these, right? And so I'm like, okay, I can get that if it's a standpoint of she's seeing the guy on a regular basis, because that's what you were saying. Like, now the house is divided. But I'm like, okay, well, if it's just freedom, right? Just freedom to hook up with a random male stripper or something, like in Vegas, like where there is no continual whatever, right? And she's just asking for the freedom, and like, you got me fucked up, right? That's basically the way his response, right? It's like, so I'm like, okay, at that point, I get it if you're understanding an energetic. So you're saying it's purely energetic at that point, and it's not also the fact that I don't want nobody in my primary, right? And it's just that insecurity of, I don't like the idea of another man blowing my girl's back up.
Because even then, at its core, it still comes back to the feminine. That feminine is open to receive. So what I'm speaking to, it doesn't matter the scenario. It can be boyfriend, fuck buddy, friends with benefit, hired gun, whatever the case. Over there in that feminine, I need to open up and receive something over here. There's this void pocket because feminine receives.
Right.
No matter what, there's something in that is not satisfied.
So you're taking it as if I need to feel like I'm sufficient for you to not even desire another masculine.
Not even that. Well, okay, so this is where it is coming to individual. Because it's not the general how any man chooses to look at it. For me personally, that is a feminine partner. You have to decide how you measure and evaluate feminine in your partner. For some men, well, I can't speak to that. Some men maybe even find a feminine partner who is sexually interested to bring another woman into the bed. Maybe that's too much of a sexuality. Like there's a level of, because masculine is the more aggressive, assertive, sexual energy.
Right.
So there is a context, right? This is a really good paradigm. We want the woman that can suck it, fuck it, twerk it, do everything the way we like, but we don't want the one that's been trained and done that exercise with everybody in town.
Facts.
So like, we want you to have the experience
without the experience.
Exactly.
We don't want you over experienced.
So that's what I'm speaking to. There is a level where, no, I need that itch. Like, the man, the masculine, has to take on how feminine he wants his partner expressed. there's a level where the feminine is going to be minimized, no matter how minute. If there's this open gap and void that I need to be sexually receiving, taking in, physical, which is energetic, that's a hole in the pocket. Your money's going to leak out, your water's going to leak out, whatever. That is an insecurity in the perimeter. From that context, I would say that's a conversation for masculine to take on. It may not bother for some, and it may not.
So you're saying that it's not a problem in like a structural, energetic standpoint.
So the turn on of she may be getting bent over by whoever they brought in that night. If that's what her masculine is, you go do this. Daddy says that's the instruction.
That's what I was saying. Like, it was never about whether she'll follow the lead. I already kind of caveated that. It was like, is it due to insecurity or is it not? Because we're putting it on the woman of the, well, baby, relax. You're not going to be replaced, right? Mm-hmm. And so you just need to deal with your insecurity, baby, right? But it's like, when I don't want another dick in my shit, that is not insecurity, right? Morals aside, it's not about fair or non-fair or whatever. Yeah. It's like, okay, is my containment as a result of, okay. Because if, let's say the woman doesn't take it, you're like, well, it's because she's insecure, right? We can say, oh, well, it's... And so for the guy who is not willing to, I don't want you smiling at no other, I don't want nothing, right? But bring as many women as you can into the village, right? Mm. Is it the energies or is it just, I don't like that shit? Like the thought of that bugs me. You know what I mean?
Then what is clearly insecurity.
So that's what I'm wondering, if it's like, if a man, because what is the true difference if we were to like try to draw? Is that guy less masculine? Is it less of a man if he's like, I let my wife, if she goes on the girl trip, is he less of a man? Is he less masculine? Or is it just different containments from different insecurities or whatever?
Well, where containment and security, I think then it gets interchangeable, because I say there's the preference to this containment looking like this. Right. And because there can be the masculine that's perfectly fine with it, secure in, you ain't going nowhere. Mm-hmm. Either way, it doesn't change that it can't happen. What does happen when flip it and the man's following the woman's containment? Because I actually look into that. All right, yeah, on the woman's side, if you're worried about that, you're secure. It's your security, and it'll be all right. Don't worry about it. You're good here. Flipping it to the man's, it is simply that insecurity. And then I was thinking about, all right, you brought it to the primitive times. You put perimeter, you build a fence around, this is our tribe and our village. So because of that, right, it can be 12 men inside of the tribe and village. We don't let the neighboring tribe just stroll past the gate, because that's why there's a perimeter. It is a security that inside these walls, life looks like this.
This was never a conversation of whether or not parameters should or shouldn't exist. I was like, okay, what is the real root of that? Like, is it truly a just... this is how it is kind of thing. And we're like, I don't want to go beyond the this is how it is and see what the true thing is. Mm-hmm. Or is it like, oh no, I don't like that shit. Doesn't make me feel good, so that's my container. So we're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's really, it's just okay, what are we really working with? Because I think for most guys, it's like, hell no, I don't like the idea of that. Mm-hmm. Just like how the woman is complaining. I don't like the idea of you kikiing like your daughter. Get the fuck out. It's not like he was...
Get off my daddy's lap.
She wasn't harming you. You weren't harming... You know what I mean?
We were all laughing.
Nah, like, that's not happening.
But it didn't matter.
So similarly, that's how I look at it. It's like, we're not doing that. How I think about it is, let's say that... amuse me. Let's say that I have some wife and, I'm this awesome guy. Money, you provision, da-da-da-da.
Congratulations.
Right. And so she's living a luscious life. She doesn't have to work, blah blah blah. And the village nomad, comes through, fucks my wife, and then dips and leaves me with all the responsibilities. Not saying she's like pregnant or something, but the way men think about it is like, I'm the man, so I can have access to all this pussy. And so this guy does not have to be the man in the way I do and fucks my chick and leaves me with all the responsibility of her emotions or crying. Mm-hmm. And you just get to come and take the spoils and dip. You come back, take the spoils and dip. And I have to maintain the village. So that's actually how I view. I actually had an answer for it. It's like, I'm maintaining this whole thing. So if I'm gonna receive the burden of the allness of you, Buddy's not gonna just come and smash and dip and leave me with the burdens of you when it's convenient. Unless you want to give him some of the burden, then that's when that comes to that dual split.
That comes
blah, blah, blah. And so, if that's the trade-off, and then I'm going, well, I'm still doing everything I'm doing. Well, men also want the exclusivity for the sake of the paternity, right? So if I want loyalty, femininity, compliance, all these things, and I'm doing my part like a fucking trooper, and then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna go fuck Brandon real quick. I'll be back though, right? And yeah, you still have to, provide for me and protect me and all these things. And Brandon does not, but he does get access to the thing that you're doing all this for, with any of the payment.
More importantly, if I get pregnant, it doesn't matter whether it's Brandon's baby or yours. You still
wouldn't
gonna
know,
raise it,
right? And you wouldn't know if pre-paternity test, right? So it's like, hey, you need to be okay with that, right? So it's like it makes sense to me. There's a perfect explanation. Dude's not gonna deal with all of the everythingness of you, and Brandon is just showing up. Hey, let me borrow your wife for the weekend. All right, I'll be back. She brings it up again, just solicit. Let me break it down for you.
Put your main on.
Right. So do you expect me to provide for and be the man? Yes. Okay, so these are the trade-offs. All right. Oh, that makes sense. All right, I'll go find the next one. All right. She's bringing the feminine, right?
There you go.
And they can do that.
Yeah.